Hello, welcome to the Q. We've got a special edition of the USA China turn, KMT, I guess, turn 9 of Operation A View to a Kill. And the special part is we get to buy and place the ANZAC and FEZ units. Silk had to leave town before he could finalize those two countries because of Japan's turn and unknowing if they were going to war. They did not. So here is the FAC purchase. They are lend-leasing KMT a medium armor, building 2 colonial infantry and 1 militia. And ANZAC will be purchasing a colonial infantry, 2 militia, and they will save $2 for next turn. I won't pretend to know what their income is, but it should be 14 and 7 plus the 2. But I guess FEC will get a bonus because they're technically at war with Germany. So let's look at their placements because they don't have any movements. The only movement that was designated was these 2 French subs and the British sub. He wanted to make sure they were in this C zone here, P44, which would be away from the map capabilities of that seaplane. All right, so if they weren't there, that's where they need to be. But because on my map, I had them here. So they're 1 C zone south. So let's place our 2 colonials will be here in Malaya. And that looks like that's going to bump that total up to 6 colonials. British infantry, 2 Gurkhas, 2 militia. We have a militia that we're placing in Hong Kong. And then the Lend-Lease will go up here into Yunnan. Give them a total of 3 armor, medium armor. The ANZAC here, the 2 militia, and then the colonial. The colonial is going into the hot zone here in New Guinea. So they'll have 2 colonials and a militia. And then they were replacing the militia here in South Island and North Island of New Zealand. So that's what that'll look like to round out the Commonwealth turns. We'll get those markers off the board because I won't be needing those. Don't want to confuse that with the U.S. money. China has $3 to spend. They're going to save it. And they have 1 move, and that is the mountain infantry from Yunnan will go up to Xikang. And let's take $3 because China will have 1 for income and 2 more for the Burma Road being open. So next turn, China will have $6. All right, the U.S., $43. They're going to advance the carrier 1 space, finish the naval port, 2 Marines, and we got our Lend-Lease here. And I don't have a strategic bomber in Chinese colors, so we'll use that one. And then the ANZAC is getting a fighter. There's nothing really exciting about that French mechanized infantry, but that rounds out the purchase, saving $1. And I suppose if we are successful on improved construction, we'll save $2 there. And I'll probably just save the $3 for next turn. All right, so let's do, first things first is our income dice roll. So we'll go ahead and roll that. And it is 7, so not too bad. Where is the income here? 43, so that moves them up to 50. Still too solid. Yeah, you'd have to roll 2 12s. Yeah, 2 12 and 11. Doesn't look like the U.S. is coming into war on its own. Oh, we need to roll tech. Japan might do it, though. You never know. Give it all those dice rolls if they attack Britain. All right, so same tech as we've been rolling all game. Improved construction and amphib doctrine. And yellow is the improved construction. And they succeed, and they succeed. So improved construction is our first tech to complete. Amphib will go up to 3. So that means I will save $1 for each one of those purchases. So we'll put $3 that they're going to save. And get rid of that stack. And that's what they saved. Saved $3. All right, so next set of techs. 3/8 for long-range jet and large ship construction. All right. And we have a 2, 11, and a 6. So the gray succeeds this time, which is large ship. So they go to 2. All right. Final 2 here is rockets and heavy strategic bombers. And rockets is red. Only makes sense. And it's like a 9 and a 7. So the 9 is strategic bombers, and they go up 1. All right, so let's move on to, let's knock things over. Let's move on to movements. The only thing that's considered an attack is these 2 destroyers that were on escort in A27 will spread out to A19. All right. That'll be it for any combat. So non-combat, we're going to take the fleet. And technically, we are not going to be in port because the port is not finished. But it is coming down here to, what is that, Puerto Rico. All right, so that will be 2 battleships, a heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, a destroyer, aircraft carrier with fighter and a tactical on it. All right. We also have 1 transport along with these 2, which will be another destroyer and another light cruiser. They will follow down. All right, so the transport will grab the light armor and the infantry, and they'll drop them off in Puerto Rico. And then a transport from New York will grab the Marine and the artillery and come down 1, 2, 3 and drop them off in Puerto Rico as well. The 2 coastal subs from A27 or A37 will move into that sea zone next to Puerto Rico. It is buried, figures, and it is A41. All right. We're going to leave them in port, and the seaplane pretty much going to stay where it's at. I think that's all we're doing there. Let's look at the Pacific side of the map. We have a strategic naval movement on this transport here off Guam at the naval base. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go in port here in Hawaii. The other strategic naval movement will be this transport here off Midway as a base, and it'll go in port in San Francisco. All right, so that's those. We got a destroyer in P36. He'll come to P29. The 3 destroyers and heavy cruiser will also come to P29. And they will stay in port. They will stay in San Francisco. The 2 subs will stay in P13, 2 coastal subs. All right, so let's see exactly what we're going to do. That's it. I think we're done. Let's place our units, and yeah, we are done. Let's place our units and move on. All right, so we're moving the carrier up to stage 2, so we can take that off. We're going to finish that port. We do have 2 Marines. I think they're going to go on. I got them slated 1 and 1. But now that I look, I don't have those transports to be fully loaded, both are going to have to go in San Francisco. Just on the outside chance something happens. All right, so 2 Marines get placed in San Francisco. I will upgrade or finish the port here in Puerto Rico. So now it's a major. And let's do some Lend-Lease and collect some money. All right, so the strategic bomber and the fighter for AVtaK will both come out of out of San Francisco, waving at Japanese ships along the way. The fighter goes into Sydney, and the strategic bomber goes into Yunnan. All right, so that's what that does. Our last Lend-Lease will be this French mechanized infantry, and it will come out of Washington and skirt the coast and into Cameroon. All right, that is the U.S. turn. We did save 3, and we have 50 now on the income tracker. So that will be for next turn. I don't know where the camera was pointing. 53. And let's do a recap here. In Sea Zone P29 is 4 destroyers and a heavy cruiser. In port is a transport. Nothing. Well, I guess that did change. In San Francisco, 2 transports, 2 battleships in port. San Francisco now has 3 Marines, 1 infantry, 1 militia, 1 fighter, 1 tactical. What changed on this side of the map? In Sea Zone, I got buried up. A41 is 2 coastal subs, 2 transports, carrier, fighter, TAC, 2 battleships, 1 heavy cruiser, 2 light cruisers, 2 destroyers. In Puerto Rico is a Marine, infantry, artillery, light armor, and a medium bomber. And A19 and A18 are 2 destroyers on escort. And that is it. Germany turn 10 is up next. And will Norway fall completely? Who knows?